Welcome to Monday's Miracle Moment. I'm Reverend Diane Lund, and my book, which came out last week, I got 5 #1 bestsellers on Amazon. So thank you, everyone who supported me. And now for this week's card, let's bring it up. I'm going to share my screen. Here's the card. And it says, "The way is not hard, but it is different." Very short. One more time. The way is not hard, but it is different. And so this is really, speaking about the course overall. The concepts of the course actually are fairly simple concepts. It's asking you to drop the fear and go with the love. That sounds easy enough, doesn't it? I mean, just stop going to fearful places in your thinking and start to come from loving places. But the reason it is hard, or we say, oh, but it's so hard, is because we've been brought up through our culture and kind of a diet of thinking from fear. If you watch the daily news, it's, it might as well be called the Daily Fear Report, because it's everything that went bad. And so when we look at it, it builds that type of thinking. Oh, this could go bad, or that could go bad, or this go bad, or that could go bad. And we start to build that kind of the mind is seeking for what can go bad rather than what can go right. So it really does take practice, because we're kind of in a big soup of fear, especially during COVID. I know here in British Columbia, where I am, this year we've had a heat dome, we've had a fire that destroyed a whole city, we've had big flooding going on in the Abbotsford area. So, when you sit there and you watch all of these things, one of my sections in my second book is called Conflict and Fear: How to Survive the Daily News. And so it's looking at some of those incidents in my own life where I had to go from being fearful of something, like fearful, say, of my father dying, and then what actually happened when he did die. I went from sort of the worst day of my life to one of the best days of my life. And that kind of turnaround is called a miracle. It's a shift in perception. It's when we're thinking from fear and now we're thinking from love. So the way isn't necessarily hard, but it's different. It's different because it's not what you're used to. If you've been thinking a certain way for 30, 40, 50 years, changing your thinking, well, it's like little grooves in the old albums, the needle goes round and round the same groove. So you have to make a conscious decision to choose again. The Course says over and over again, if you aren't liking the way you're feeling, and your feelings are a monitor of what you're thinking, then you have to make a conscious decision to choose again. And how could you do that? Well, you could start journal writing, for example, write out all of those negative things, get them out, and then decide, I want to choose again. And how could you choose again? Write that out. Or just practice it, say to yourself. I mean, there's a book out right now, I think it's called The High Five Habit, and it's just high-fiving yourself in the mirror every morning and saying how great you are and that you're worth it and you deserve it. So there's all kinds of ways that we can shift our thinking from fearful thoughts to loving thoughts, which is the miracle. At the end of my book, there's a whole 4 section on some of the things that you can do to try and shift your thinking. So you can get that book at Amazon. And yeah, do I have a copy here? I don't know if it will show because of my background, but here's the copy of my book. So turn your world upside down to get your life right side up. Thank you, everyone who purchased it. I really, really appreciate it. And really, the world is turned upside down right now. So now's a good time to change your mind, change your thinking, and get a loving energy working at the center of your life. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye for now. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Bye.